You feel energized, motivated, disciplined, and all of a sudden, you just can't. You can't stop scrolling your phone, you can't get out of bed, and even the smallest task feels impossible. And then you start wondering what happened? Why did I suddenly lose all my energy and how can I get it back? Just yesterday, I was crossing off everything on my to-do list. It feels like it happens on its own, like you have no control over how you will wake up tomorrow. If you believe it just happens randomly and that you just have to wait until one day things will just simply go back to normal, this video is for you. I will show you 4 simple steps you can follow to bounce back to your productive life as quickly as possible. Let's agree that we all want to be superhumans at some level, always be positive, energized, never lose motivation. Just be perfect. But in reality, discipline doesn't mean being perfect. It means starting over again and again. Falling out of rhythm is not failure, it's part of the process. The key is to make comeback easy, not to disappear for weeks because of one bad day, but to learn how to bounce back in a day or two. I had anxiety for 3 years, and it was hard to do anything in that state of mind. Step by step, I learned how to manage it, and luckily now I can say that it's finally no longer part of my life, but I still sometimes feel small echoes of it, and I try to be aware and notice them as soon as possible. Sometimes I still fall out of routine for a couple of weeks, lying in bed, scrolling on my phone, every action feeling heavy, but sometimes I follow the rhythm just for one day and then quickly get back into an active phase. I analyzed what makes these situations different, and it turned out to be some very simple and clear actions that I want to share with you. You will be able to create your own version of this routine that works best for you. And that's what real self-care is, knowing what helps you to come back to yourself. So the first step is to understand why did this happen. Yes, you can rest for a while, lay in bed, watch your favorite show, but for me, in those moments, there's no real joy in it. I don't rest. I only blame myself more for doing nothing. Think about it. Something happened, maybe a small argument, a bad comment, or you're just emotionally drained or physically tired. And sometimes you either don't want to face it in your head or in real life, or you don't want to feel it, or you simply don't know what to do about it. So you postpone making a decision or an action. I know this so well. It happens when something triggers my anxiety, or when I keep delaying an important decision or action. That's why there's no real pleasure in that rest, because deep down you know there's something very important you should face or do. And when that weight finally lifts off your shoulders, that's when rest feels real. When I feel like that, I ask myself, what happened? What do I feel? And why do I feel it? Try to sit down and talk to yourself honestly. Maybe through journaling, maybe with ChatGPT as your guide, maybe during your therapy session, if you can. You need to understand what happened to know how exactly you can help yourself. Write it down, talk it out. Sometimes awareness is all it takes to feel lighter. The next step is action. Not a big one, just something you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a phone call, a message, a small task. In your head, it feels huge, I know, but the moment you do it, it loses its power. Recently for me, it was just a small conversation with my partner. I wanted to discuss a topic that, for certain reasons, triggers my anxiety. And in my head, there was a battle. Maybe I shouldn't bring it up. Maybe it will pass, or maybe it will make things worse. But believe me, if something doesn't sit right, you have to bring it up and let it out. Otherwise, it keeps eating you from the inside. Think about one thing you've been putting off the most. One uncomfortable action, and just do it. Yes, it will take effort, but you will feel so light and grateful right after. And remember, actions give us energy, not the other way around. The longer you sit and postpone, the more energy you lose, and the harder it is to get back on track. It's action that restores our faith in ourselves. We are often held back by destructive thoughts. I can do this. I'm not good enough. But the moment we act, we prove ourselves wrong and rebuild that confidence. The more action you take, the stronger your confidence grows. Step number 3, restoring your body and the environment. Now that you've unlocked a bit of energy, it's time to expand it. In the book The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, it's beautifully explained how stress can stay trapped in our bodies for years, even when we try to ignore it or forget it. When a small stressful event releases cortisol and adrenaline, your breath shortens and your heart rate rises. The body prepares to fight or run, but instead we sit at our desks, smile, keep working, trying to do everyday things. Even if the mind calms down, the body might still stay in that state of alert. That's why you need to let your body complete that stress reaction. And here are a few ways. First, shake your hands and legs. Jump a little. It's a natural way to shake off the stress. Second thing is walking. Rhythmic leg movements stabilizes your nervous system, activating your prefrontal cortex and helping your body move out of anxiety. And the third thing can be actually any activity of your choice. I personally like to dance. You can turn on music, sad or happy, whatever you like, and dance like nobody's watching. It helps you reconnect with your body, or you can do yoga, stretching, or even strength training. Really, any activity of your choice that will help you to feel good. Then, one more step that I think is essential and gives me an instant boost: tidy up your space. I don't know about you, but when I'm low on energy, my apartment shows it. And the opposite is also true. When my space is clean and organized, it motivates me to take action. Plus, when everything's in order, I have one less excuse to procrastinate, because sometimes I stretch out chores to feel productive instead of doing what really matters. So for me, clean space is a way to support my motivation and keep from slipping back into procrastination. And the final step is building structure that works for you. If you think that was the last time you lost your energy, you're very wrong. That's why we need small habits to regularly check in with ourselves. Like I said before, falling off isn't a failure, it's part of the process. So we need small rituals to prevent big crashes or to bounce back from them faster. Usually, falling out of routine looks like this. I start to believe in myself. I feel like that I am capable of doing great things, but then I drift back to reality and think, who am I kidding? Why did I think that I could change anything? What if I fail? And here are the few steps that help me with this. First, dump your thoughts, even the destructive ones, and process them. Journaling helps a lot. Write down all the negative thoughts spinning in your head during the low phase. Then, next to each one, write why it's not true and add a positive example from your life or from others. The second thing is meditation. It helps you to stay in touch with yourself and notice what you feel in the moment. With practice, you start noticing your thoughts and emotions before they take over. You pause before reacting, whether it's scrolling on your phone or say something you will regret. Meditation helps you make conscious choices and stay honest with yourself. And the last here are motivational tools. If you, like me earlier, think that vision boards and self-programming journals exist to magically make your wishes come true, they don't. They're here to create such a strong vision of your future self that you have no choice but to act. They pull you from the current reality to the one where you already act differently. The goal is to remind your brain daily that this version of you exists and it's achievable. You can make a vision board, but look at it daily. Don't hide it in your drawer. You can write a note describing your ideal day 1, 3, or 5 years from now, but you have to reread it daily. Or you can read motivational books or biographies of people who made it. Do one thing or all of them. The key is consistency. Because sometimes we lose motivation simply because we forget what we are moving towards. Start small. Don't try to do everything at once. Plan just 5 minutes of exercise to release stress, 3 minutes of meditation or journaling to clear your mind, 15 minutes of work to rebuild your confidence, 10 minutes of reading for motivation, or 10 minutes of cleaning to stay on track. Believe me, once you do that, the energy will appear because actions attract energy. You don't need motivation to act. Act to find motivation. And if you feel like social media scrolling is what's keeping you from getting back on track, check out my recent video, How to Win Your Brain Back from Social Media Without a Detox. If you made it to the end of the video and left a like, thank you so much. I truly appreciate your support. And let's keep making small changes that lead to big transformations together.